Shalom Aleichem, dear brothers and sisters, beloved, to all the tribes of the children of Israel, to all of the nations, to all of the tongues, and all of the peoples, and all of the tribes of this earth. It is yours truly, Yeshua, the Lion from the tribe of Judah, and I'm back from Israel with a message and a story to tell. I am in Central Park, New York right now. After I arrived on the El Al Airlines from Israel. I have a message from Israel, a message from my experience, from an African American who took the time, energy, effort to purchase my own ticket and fly to Israel. And I did that, just like I said I was gonna do. And God gave me the grace to do it. Indeed, He gave me the grace to do it. I want to make sure you all can see me nice and clear on this film, so that there is no doubt about it, what I have to say. Once again, it's yours truly, Yeshua Samson, the Lion from the tribe of Judah, and I humbly present this video to you today. To whoever is watching, to my brother Hamza, the Lion of the UK, first and foremost, who I met in Israel. I just got back from Ben Gurion Airport, Israel, and I am now in New York at Central Park, as you can see. I stopped here because I have a flight soon coming back to Los Angeles tomorrow. So I rented a room here in New York to digress and to soak in my experience that I just experienced in Israel. And I have a message for you. All of my YouTube videos, everything that I've been saying and telling you and prophesying for the past year and a half, 2 years, have been fulfilled. Everything that I have been telling you, reading from the Bible, from the Quran, has been confirmed by this one trip that I just took to Israel on April the 12th. And I just got back, and I have a message for you all. A message of hope, a message of love, a message of peace, a prophetic message, a true message. And I pray to he who has an ear, let him hear. We all have been sitting here in America looking at the news and watching television, seeing what they have to tell us, the media. So I took it upon myself to go to Israel myself, to get a bird's eye view, to feel the land right now. And I felt it. So let me tell you what happened. When I arrived at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, and I have some footage to confirm it. I have receipts. I flew 11 hours on a plane to Israel on United Airlines. I was caught up in the air, in the clouds, to Israel. I saw it. I felt it. Revelations. I felt the rapture. I felt it as I was sitting on the plane amongst Jews, Orthodox Jews, Christians, Muslims. And there was a group of soldiers that also boarded the United Airlines flight with me. Please listen to me. Please stay with me. Watch this video until the end. Please hit the like button right now. If you haven't subscribed to my channel by now, please do so. Please let me know who you are, these two viewers, and where you are watching from. So upon my arrival to Israel on April the 13th, 2024, I left on April 11th. It took me a day, all good of a day, to get there, a day and a half. I had my camp gear. I purchased a camping bag from Walmart. And I purchased a tent. I purchased a fire starter. I got this paracord bracelet with the compass. I was ready to go into the mountains and camp in Israel, just as the Israelites did. I was prepared to lead the way. I was prepared to go live in Israel. I was prepared. I told them I was coming. I didn't just pop up. I informed the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, and I tried to volunteer, actually, because as an American, did you know that you can volunteer for combat and non-combat? But I went by myself. You see? I had my fatigues. I was ready. What you see me wearing right now is what I wore in Israel. Except this scarf, I just bought this in New York. But I had my camp gear. I had my tent. I was ready to tent and camp in Israel. And while I was in Israel, I was going to go from camp to camp. I was going to go to the West Bank. I was going to go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I had it all mapped out, the itinerary from Google Earth. From the Bible, I looked up every place in the Bible that was significant, that was mentioned in the Bible. I did that. Surely I did. I'm trying to find a good place where I can sit down and film this comfortably. So I looked up everything on the map, circled it, and decided that's where I was gonna go. So when I got to Israel, it didn't exactly go that way. God had other plans. Do you hear me? We can plan all we want, but God, He has the final say. That's why He says, in all your ways, submit all your ways to me, all your plans, submit them to me. Here we go. In all your ways, acknowledge the Lord. Okay? So, just got back. when I arrived in Israel, I got off the plane. I had checked in my baggage. I had the tent. I was ready to go camp throughout Israel and spread the word of God with love, and just talk to the people and just show them love and support. So Border Control stopped me, and they brought me into a room along with my passport, and they asked me what I was coming to Israel for. And I told them that I was coming to show support and that I signed up to volunteer with the IDF, and that I am a prophet and a messenger of God and from America, and that I support Israel, and that I want to see this war stop. I want to be a part of this prophecy being fulfilled. I'm not crazy. I'm bold and courageous. And that's what it takes. It's courage, boldness. While we're sitting here behind our desks and on our computers, laying in our bed, sitting on our couches, scrolling through our phones, looking at the news and the media, looking for every little, watching every second and minute and hour, praying, leaving comments, throwing stones. It's gonna take a little bit more than that, beloved. And when he brought me in the interrogation room, I was honest. I told him what I do for work. I didn't lie. I was truthful. And if you're from California, you know they don't have Newports, menthols in California, but they have them in New York. Gotta smoke a cigarette. So listen to my story. Please like, share, and subscribe as I tell you this story with the message that I have from Israel. I just returned from Israel, in case you just tuned in. My name is YHWH Samson. I'm the CEO and founder of West Coast Rise Ministries, where our mission is to bridge the gap between community, faith, and social justice. I'm an international activist. I'm a minister. I'm a prophet. I don't like to tell you all of that, to be self-proclaimed, but I am anointed for such a time as this, just like many of you are. And it's time for us to get bold. Right here, right now. So I hope that this message will inspire you and encourage you that if I could do it, you can do it. And if I can do it and you can do it, then we all can do it. And there are people that are doing it. And I'm gonna get to that. You have to stay with me to the end of this video. You have to watch and just listen. Just stay with me. I'm not trying to entertain you, but I do hope that I can keep your attention. So after he finished interrogating me, he was talking to me. He was saying, "Why do you come here in the middle of a war? Don't you see what's going on?" I said, "Of course, yes." I was like, "Well, I'm tired of sitting back watching the news. I wanted to come here. I want to be a part of this." And he said, "Thank you. We got it. We got this, you know." So he went back and talked to his supervisor, and he came back. He asked how much money I had. I told him how much money I had. I had my return flight booked till May 30th. So I was gonna stay there 45 days. I wasn't going there to just go visit and go take pictures and play around like many of us that you see people do. These organizations, they go out there to these Holy Land experiences and they plan with the Holy Land. They plan with the Promised Land, you know. We had a chance, if you look it up, we had a chance to go to Israel with Martin Luther King. He was going to lead us there. He was going to take a big, large group to Israel. And we were going to bridge that gap between the Jews and the blacks, African Americans in his era during civil rights. You can look that up yourself. Knowledge is power. And that's what encouraged me and inspired me to make this move. I wouldn't be who I say I am, if I didn't do this, if I didn't lead the way. I wouldn't say I'm the lion from the tribe of Judah for nothing. God blessed me with the grace, with the gift, with the vision to see this. I've studied to show myself approved, and I know what it takes. It takes faith. Faith without works is dead. We have to work, and I'm going to confirm that. Just listen, because it gets better. This journey that I was on in Israel for the past 4 days, I was there 4 days. So the Border Patrol agent came back and he said, I'm sorry, I can't let you into Israel, because if something happens to you while you're here, then we will be in trouble because you're an American. And it felt good to hold that American passport and go to Israel as an African American, intelligent, articulate. I spoke well, I was respectful, and I went with love. I didn't go with a chip on my shoulder. I didn't go to rub it in their faces that blacks are the Israelites. I didn't do that, because we have to have love. Paul told us this in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We can have the gift of prophecy, the gift of knowledge. We can know all different kinds of languages. We can have all this wisdom and truth. We can know the truth, but if we don't have love, then we're just like a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. Nobody wants to hear that. We've heard that with past leaders. They yell and they scream and they spew out hatred and they spew out division. That's not going to work. God is doing a new thing. So let's do this. So he said, I can't let you in. And I respected that. I was honored by that. You know, I was honored. I cried, I shed a little tear, I choked up a little bit, but I was honored by that because he was serious. So, mind you, when I left, I had my Bible with me. And when I was at LAX airport, I purchased a book called Are We Living in the End Times by Dr. Robert Jeffries. And I had seen him talking about that book on TBN, on the radio. I've heard him on my local radio station, Dr. Robert Jeffries. And he was speaking about the end times and the war and what's happening right now and the return of the Messiah, the second coming of Yeshua. And so as I bought that book at the airport, I carried that with me. I carried the Bible with me, the Good News Bible from the American Standard, the American Bible Society. And I had my journal book because I'm writing this and documenting everything, not only on film, but I'm also writing it, and I will be publishing a book, and it will be called The Lamb's Book of Life. Yes, you heard it right. And it will have all of everything that you need to know in that book. So anyhow, they took me back to this little other area where I had to wait, and I pulled out my Bible and I started reading Isaiah 43 and Isaiah 11 about the stem from the root of Jesse. And I felt it. And I started reading the Bible, and they got upset and said, stop reading, stop yelling. And I was humble, you know, I was humble. I lowered my voice. They were very rude to me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. Some of the Border Patrol agents were very rude to me. I felt a hint of prejudice and racism, although I hate to throw out that card. Or maybe it was just they were doing their job. But either way, I overlooked it, and I still loved them and told them shalom every chance I got, because it was Saturday when I arrived. I arrived on Shabbat Shalom, so it was all perfect. So I was able to say Shabbat Shalom, and throw the heart sign to everybody. So it was beautiful. You hear me? So he kept telling me, be quiet, so I'm gonna cuff you. I said, why you wanna cuff me, sir? Why, sir? I always address them as sir, because they're authorities. We're supposed to respect those in authority. I had nothing to fear because I'm not doing anything wrong. We're supposed to respect authorities. Read that, Romans chapter 13. So he said, I will cuff you. I said, oh, you know, I humble myself. Now, mind you, I've been incarcerated. I've been in chains before, so I know how to handle COs. I know how to handle correctional officers. I know how to handle and mediate. I know how to, you know, diffuse a situation with law enforcement. You know, my father raised me well. you know, to always say, you know, address them as sir, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And it goes a long ways, no matter where you're at. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you don't have to fear the authorities. The authorities are there, they're servants and ministers of justice that God puts in place in that position. And if you are doing wrong, then you should fear them. Then you will run. Even if you didn't do anything wrong at that moment, you might have done something wrong before, and you're still living with that conscience. You have a guilty conscience. So we want to respect the authority for the sake of our conscience. Okay, so we can have a clear conscience. That's a message. Like I said, I'm going to be telling you, this is a message that I'm giving you. It's not a story. I'm giving you a prophetic message and insight, hoping that it will encourage you and inspire you and prepare you for the promised land. Please listen to me. How many people do I have watching? 2? I don't have enough viewers. This is sad. See what this says? It says love. I went there to Israel just like this, prepared. So from there, they took me to, there was these 2 specific guards that I really, really admire. That they were tough with me at first, my transport officers, the ones that transported me. So when they said I couldn't go, they gave me a paper saying, you know, why they couldn't go, and that I would be put into a facility until I was flown back safely to the U.S. So when they took me to like this hospital. So they took me to a hospital. And when I got to the hospital in Israel, lo and behold, guess what I saw? Ethiopian Jews. Ethiopian Jews at the hospital. And it was just really interesting. It was really interesting. It was beautiful, like to see the Ethiopian Jews in Israel. And then I got to thinking back to the research I did when they brought the Ethiopian Jews over to Israel in the 40s and the 60s, you know, and somehow, some way they're there. They've been there for a while, and they got good jobs, and they're thriving, and they've blended, they've assimilated into Jewish culture. They have their yarmulkes, and they all speak Hebrew. It's just really interesting. The you know, the Hamashiach. You know, I love how they, you know, that it's a beautiful language, you know, Hebrew. I've got to say that. God, I wish you guys could experience it. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. God, it was so beautiful. So, I'm just playing everything in my mind. It is just such a blessing to be able to experience that, you know? So, they took me to the hospital, and they gave me some real serious questions, you know? And that's when I let it all out. I let it all out. I told them exactly what it is, what Israel is, what the promised land is, what I read in the Bible, what prophetic times we're living in. I told them what the significance of Rafah is, and getting the women and the children to safety, and not retaliating. Well, I didn't mention that, but I did tell them, let's get the women and children to safety out of Rafah. Let's get them to the Mount of Olives. Let's get them to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. All of us Americans, we all go in groups to Israel to volunteer as groups. We go in groups. We have to gather and coordinate. And I'm gonna tell you why I confirmed it, because when I got, okay, I can't get there yet. It's gonna be good. Just stick with me to the end. Please don't leave me, you guys. Beloveds, don't leave me. This message is going to change your lives. Please like, share, subscribe. So after I did the mental health evaluation at the airport, at the medical screening, they took me to, in the van. I'm in a van. It's barred up. They made me put my cell phone away so I couldn't take pictures. It was really interesting. And I could see all the signs like for Jerusalem, Lut, which is Lot, L-O-T. I saw Ramallah, and the Ethiopian, it was an Ethiopian Jew that was the passenger, and it was another actual Jew driving. So like we were all talking, they were listening to music, we were talking about, and it looked just like Hollywood. I was like, wow, it looks just like California in Israel, like where they took me. The weather was the same as California. That was the same exact feeling I got, was California. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So when I got to Israel, it was, because I'm in the back seat of the van, and it's, you know, it's bars and it's really dark, and I could just see all the different freeways, and I couldn't record it, so I was sad about that. So after I finished my medical screening in Israel, they took me to this facility. It was like a jail. They took me to a jail, to a facility, like protective custody. They opened the gate, you know, they brought me in. It was a bunch of guards in there. And they were rough at first. They were strict. They were tough at first. Like, it felt just like I was in the county jail again, like going through intake, getting booked in or something. But I didn't get strip searched or nothing like that. So it was just a different vibe. But you know, they were trying to be stern and firm to show me the seriousness of, you know, me being denied to Israel and me coming at a bad time like this, especially coming by myself. They just couldn't believe it, that as an African American I would have the courage to come to Israel in the midst of a war. And it was on the Sabbath, so I was able to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and it was just beautiful. And they didn't understand like where I was coming from, because I know that some Israelites, some African Americans have gone there and, you know, maybe stirred up some problems, trouble or whatnot, and it kind of affected it, you know, made it bad for all of us, maybe, possibly. So they were just a little suspect of me, and they were leery and just making sure that, you know, I was not on negativity. And I wasn't going there with negativity, I was going with love. So I got to the facility. I had to turn in my phone, all my belongings, and I put it into this little cubby, and everybody's speaking to each other in Hebrew. And there was some of them were mean, I'm telling you. Some of them, they were like good cop, bad cop. But they put me in this room by myself. They gave me a bunk. It was just like being in the county jail again. They gave me a little bunk, a bottom bunk, a roll. They gave me a bed roll. They gave me a towel. I had my own toothbrush and stuff like that. And I didn't have any Wi-Fi. I couldn't use my phone there. So when we go to Israel, we have to make sure we get SIM cards, you guys, so that we can use the phone out there, and they also have different plugs. Like, you have to get a different type of plug to plug in your phone to charge it. But that's just, take that mental note when we all gather and we return to Israel. We have to be prepared so we can document everything with our phones and be on our cell phones. We have to get SIM cards at the airports before we go. All right, international SIM cards with unlimited data, message, internet, and all that good stuff, so we can record everything. This has to be documented. Everybody has to have their own experience and be documented on their phones when we go to Israel. That's how we stop this, okay? Trust me. So, and I'm gonna confirm it. So they get me in the room. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I went into this room by myself. So I didn't know there were gonna be other people there. So there was cameras in the room, and a sink and everything, you know, and there was some food in there. They give all kosher food, so just expect to eat. All right, hope you guys are all still with me. All right, so I'm gonna walk. I'm in Central Park, guys. Look, just so you can see. Oh, my goodness, God is good. Oh. All right. So when I got to the cell, I didn't know that there were gonna be other people there. So I laid down, I prayed, I had my journal book, so I was able to take my Bible, my Are We Living in the End Times book, and my journal book, because I journaled everything and I've been documenting everything, because like I said, I'm gonna be publishing a book about this whole experience. I've been writing everything down for the past year and a half, just as many of you have. I went to the cell. I laid down for a little bit, and then I kind of just got like claustrophobic a little bit. So I got up and I banged on the door, and I was like, let me out of here, you know? I was like, let me out of here. I was like, let me out of here. And so the guards came, and they were like, hey, don't bang on the door. You know, you want me to lock you up? And I was like, man, I'm stressed out, man. I need a cigarette. Let me out of here. You know, what did I do? Why you treat me like a criminal? You know, because I was feeling like I was locked down like a criminal. And I didn't understand. So they said, okay, we'll let you out. Come on, come on. I said, I'm an American. You know, why are you treating me like this? So they took me downstairs for a little smoke break. And they gave me a cigarette. Because you can smoke there. Like all the Israelis, they smoke. So all the guards and the security were all smoking. So when they let me out, I noticed to the right of me, there was a room with a bunch of women in there. They were Russian women. So I was like, wow, okay, that was the first thing I saw. And they were all looking at me. So I threw them the heart hands, you know. And they were like, hi, you know, because they were just happy to see another person there. And so I went downstairs, smoked a cigarette, and they were talking to me and asking me questions. And then I hit it off with one of the guards. And I thought he was a Jew, an Israeli. But he's a Druze. That's D-R-U-Z. So I was like, what's a Druze? Because he's on his phone. And I'm like, what's a Druze, you know? So he shows me, you know, what the Druze people are. And then he's asking me, I'm like, man, well, I got a YouTube channel, you know, and I have an Instagram, and I go live on YouTube, and I talk about Israel, and I got a lot of good music, and, you know, this and that from America, and I support Israel. And I was just really just talking to him, you know, and he was shocked, and, you know, so he went to my YouTube channel, and he was looking at everything, and he was just talking to me like a normal human being. And then all the other guards were out there smoking, and we were talking about Tupac and California, and we were talking about Los Angeles, because I was telling them that the weather there in Israel reminded me of California. It reminded me just like California. So we just, that was pretty interesting. So then after that, I finished my smoke break. And then they said, okay, you want to go to a different room, you know, with other people, with more people? I was like, yes, please. I need some people to talk to. So they're like, okay. So they took me to another room. And this is when it got good. This is when it got good, beloved. I got into the room, and it was 6 other men there. There was 2 Russians. I still remember their names. Vladimir. It was Peter. And there was a Colombian. No, there was a brother there from Ecuador. Ecuadorian there. He didn't speak any English, and he carried some paperwork with him. And everybody was saying that he was a doctor, you know, from Ecuador. And then there was a brother from London, the Muslim brother. And this is when this is going to get interesting when I get to the Islam part. And so I introduced myself. It was just like being in jail again, and I started. Like I'm looking on the walls, everybody who had been there before to Israel, they had like wrote their little names in their language. Like I saw Russian language, I saw Chinese, like some people wrote China. Like I saw every kind of, like all different countries written on the walls in pencil. And so it was just really interesting. It was beautiful.
So nobody spoke English except the brother from the UK, Hamza. His name is Hamza. He's Muslim, and he's from the UK. Oh, but Hamza, I forgot to tell you about how me and Hamza got cool, because when we went to go smoke a cigarette that night, I thought he was like a ruthless Muslim at first, but he was poised and he had a bald head, and I didn't know what to expect at first, but he was humble, and he kept asking like, hey, when am I gonna get my ticket back to London? You know, because everybody's waiting on their tickets back to London, the ones that got denied entrance into Israel. So the guards kind of like, you know, was being rude to him. And so he said something and tried to approach him and get a little aggressive. And the Muslim brother stepped to him, you know, Hamza. I'm not going to call him Muslim brother anymore. When I say Hamza, you know who I'm talking about, the Lion of the UK. Hamza means lion in Arabic. So Hamza, he stepped to him like, you know, and it was pretty powerful. Like, he had authority. You could tell this brother that Hamza had some authority. He was prayed up. He had Allah with him, and it could nothing break him. He was a righteous dude, like a righteous dude. He was only 32 years old. And mind you, I'm 44. I know I don't look it, but I'm 44. So, yeah, so he introduces himself to me, and he's like, he's the only one that speaks English. So he's telling me who everybody is, and he's telling us, you know, his situation. He came with a group of 17 Muslims from London, okay, to Israel to go see the Al-Aqsa Mosque, okay? And out of the 17 people that came with his group, he was the only one that was denied. Now, Hamza has businesses and everything in Israel, in London, and he's into real estate. Very articulate man, very bright brother, very bright, very knowledgeable in the Quran, very prophetic. And so mind you, I had my Bible with me, and it has the Torah, it has the Apocrypha. So it was on, beloved, it was on. And he told me he was Muslim, obviously, and we talked about the situation that happened. And then we just started talking about what was happening in Israel. And we just started, that's what we were there for, that we wanted to come to the promised land. And we started to realize that us being in there together was not a coincidence. So we just, we were talking about Islam, and I told him that I was just teaching from the Quran on my page, on my YouTube channel here. And you can go back to some previous messages a couple months back into my videos, and you can see that I do talk about, I have been reading from the Quran. So we were just talking about that, and we were talking about Isa, Yeshua. And mind you, I'm introducing myself as Yeshua. And he didn't deny it, he didn't like look at me sideways like many of you do online when I say I'm Yeshua, and I post these videos and you see me wrapped up with the American flag, and you see me preaching these messages. I get many mean comments and rude comments and just judgmental comments and blasphemous comments. And so he was just open, and we were there, so why would I lie? We're here now, so it's even more powerful what I'm saying. And we were just soaking into the moment of this experience in Israel. And we were talking about Isa, Yeshua, Jesus of the Quran, and how he believed in him. And we were talking about Palestine and how we could come together, and how this war was stopped. We talked about the red heifers. We talked about the temple. And then I read the Bible, Revelations 3, about the synagogue of Satan, the ones who say that they are Jews but are liars. And they will come and bow and worship at our feet and know that God has loved us. That's in the Bible. And it's not meant to shed any racism or division, but it's the truth. You know, the land is the promised land, and we were scattered throughout the nations. We lost our land because we didn't obey the covenants. We disobeyed God. And I'm thankful. It was so beautiful to see that the Jews are really holding down the land. You know, whether they're liars or not, they've held down the land. They've rebuilt the land. They had buildings, like new buildings were being built. I saw it, the scaffolding. I saw cranes. I saw buildings going up through Tel Aviv, like apartment buildings ready for us to return, ready for us to come to, in beautiful cities just like California. So I saw it. I saw a glimpse of the future of the promised land of all the nations, tribes, and tongues gathered together to Israel. I saw it. I saw it. I saw the potential. I saw it. I saw the prophecy being fulfilled. That's why I had to go to Israel. So I have to say something. I have to be honest. As we were talking about Islam, and we were talking about the Quran, I decided to revert to Islam. And I did my Shahada in that cell in Israel with my Muslim brother. And he led in prayer. And we did prayer every day in Israel until he left and went to London. And while we were there and we hit it off, another brother came in from Russia, from Dagestan. He was 23 years old. He came to Israel to work. Everybody that came there were coming to Israel to work. And then another brother came in from, so he spoke a little English, which I was very impressed that the Russian came in. And he was talking about Vladimir Putin and Russia and Ukraine. And we were talking about the war in his land and how it's affected him. And he was saying that he's a security guard and that he wanted to come to America to work, and he wanted to come to Israel and do security and do work there. And I was like, wow, we were all just crazy people up in here trying to come to Israel and get a job in the middle of a war. But it was easier for these guys to get to Israel than it is for us from America. It takes 11 hours. For them, it's like 5-6 hours or even shorter, you know, and it's not as expensive as it is to fly to Israel from other parts of the countries. So I reverted to Islam in the cell in Israel. And that night, on the Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom, that just passed, which was that April the 14th or 13th, when Iran shot the 400 missiles through to retaliate against after the consulate got bombed. I saw the missiles flying out my window because there were bars in our dorm, in our room, in our cell. And I saw the missiles literally flying in the sky, and I saw like them being stopped, you know, in midair, and then like the dogs were barking outside, and all the security were running and everything, like looking and taking pictures in the sky, and you know, just getting ready and getting prepared just in case. And just I was like, wow. And I heard the bomb. I heard a boom, 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 like them being stopped. And so, mind you, I haven't talked to my family or anything. And we're like, wow, you know. And so the next day after the rockets finished and everything, we went out for our smoke break, and I talked to my the security of the border agent there in Israel during our smoke break, and he was showing us pictures of the bombs going over the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and it was just really interesting. It was and they were all just happy and proud that the bombs would stop. And then so they started canceling all of our flights again, so nobody could fly back home because of that. So all the flights were shut down. So everybody was like, so we just stayed praying, and we kept doing our salat, kept doing our fahadas. I forgot the name. I have to go to a mosque and figure it out, but do some more studying on actual prayer. But Oh, man, beloved, it was just very interesting as an African American being in Israel, as an Israelite that knows the word and knows the truth, and just to be a part of that. And it just shows me that if I could do it, then we all could do it together. And if we all went in groups with a plan, then I believe we can make a significant impact, a prophetic message, a prophetic difference when we gather the 144,000 from all the tribes of the children of Israel. That's what it showed me. Because then some other brothers came in from Colombia, and then Ecuador, and then Romania, and Turkey, and Ethiopia, and most of the guards there were Ethiopian Jews. So I'm telling you, I can get into more details, but I feel like I'm rambling, and it's cold, and I only have 2 viewers, but that's okay, because I'm gonna break this video down into some shorts, and then I'll maybe come back online and do another live video and tell about some more interesting details, but about how I got home back to America and how I ended up here in New York City at Central Park. At Central Park, where I'm at right now, the sun is going down. I need to get back to my hostel. I'm in a hostel with other people. It's beautiful. God is good. Pray for us, y'all. Pray for us all. Pray for Israel. Continue to pray for America. Stay in your word. Study your Bibles. Prepare your provisions. Spread this message. Please share this video so it can give other people hope, and inspire others and encourage others that we can make it to Israel and we can gather. And whether it's with the Church of the Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, all the churches here in the United States, we get together, we get our churches together. We need to make this priority. Before I went to Israel, I was spreading the message and telling people we need to, we need to go. And everybody's got their own things going on here in America. But we don't understand that what's happening in Israel, it affects us directly and indirectly for the future of this world, the future of mankind, and just everything is riding on this right now. So let's just keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. And we can do this. We can gather, and we will gather. All the churches, we need to make this a priority to come together, just like the Muslims. They came from London in 17 with just 17 of them. Imagine if all the Muslims here in America, the Christians, all of us gathered together with our churches. We meet up strategically in Missouri, at the temple in Missouri, at Zion, the New Jerusalem temple that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has in Missouri. We all meet up there first, and then the churches put all the money together and send us on flights. Everybody have their passports, everything ready, because you don't need a visa to get to Israel. Once you get there, you'll be granted entry. And it might be possible that some of us won't be granted entry, and you'll be experiencing the same thing that I experienced, what I'm sharing with you in this video. So that's why I have to share this video with you, because it may be possible that when we go in groups, some of you may not be allowed in. So just be ready for that. All right. And where'd you guys go? Where'd everybody go? Anywho, Allahu Akbar. God is so good. So we get all the churches together. We gather. And we go to Israel together with our Bibles in hand. The 144,000 first and foremost, with Judah leading the way. I'll lead the way. This is leading the way, me sharing this video with you. I will lead us there. And I have everything already mapped out. And I'm going to take the best pastors and scholars with me.
and we're going to go to Jerusalem. We're going to go to Tel Aviv, and we're going to go with our Bibles, spreading love. We're going to go with our resources, with everything, anything that we have. Get your tents ready. Like I said, prepare your provisions. Just like the Israelites camped, we have to do the same thing. You know, we have to know how to do without for now, do our daily bread. You know, we can't, it's not time for luxury and lavishness right now. We got to put all that materialism to the side and go to Israel together. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For God is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Shalom, shalom alaikum. Please like, share, subscribe this video, spread the word, spread the message, prepare your provisions. We are going to the promised land, and we are going to fulfill prophecy. The marathon continues. Rise up. Let's go.